In the vast and diverse galaxy, the human race stands as a paradox. Weak and frail in appearance, their spirit and resilience are unmatched. When the alien princess of the Kreon Empire is taken hostage by a rogue faction, it is a seasoned human general, renowned for his strategic brilliance and indomitable will, who dares to embark on a daring rescue mission. In a journey that spans hostile planets, treacherous space routes, and intricate political webs, the general must navigate not only the dangers of the galaxy, but also the complexities of interspecies alliances. This is a tale of bravery, ingenuity, and the unyielding human spirit that dares to challenge the might of the galaxy's most formidable forces. And so, the story begins. The sterile, metallic scent of the diplomatic ship Intrepid filled the air as General Marcus Thorne paced the command deck. The hum of the engines was a constant backdrop to his thoughts. The recycled air, with its slightly stale taste, did little to soothe his anxiety. Dim, artificial lighting cast long shadows, adding to the tense atmosphere. "General, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Harris, his tone urgent. Thorne moved to the holoscreen, where a distress signal from the Kreon Empire was displayed. Princess Lirien had been captured by the rogue faction known as the Zargons. The Kreon Empire's plea for help echoed through the corridors of the ship. "We can't ignore their plea for help. It's our duty," Thorne declared, his voice firm with conviction. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. "General, this mission could be a suicide run," Harris warned, concern evident in his eyes. Thorne nodded, understanding the risks. "I know, Lieutenant. But duty and honor demand we act." Thorne's sense of duty and honor was well known among his team. He was a man who led by example, and his leadership had earned him the loyalty of his crew. As they analyzed the situation, potential locations of the Zargons were identified. Thorne decided to take on the mission despite the risks, a decision that met resistance from both his team and Kreon officials. "You are overstepping, human. This is not your fight," a Kreon official stated, his voice laced with skepticism. Thorne met the Kreon official's gaze, unwavering. "If we don't act, Princess Lirien's fate will be sealed. We have the means and the will to help." His persuasive arguments and unwavering resolve began to win over the doubters. The Kreon officials, though reluctant, agreed to let Thorne lead the mission. With the plan set, the urgency of the rescue mission and the stakes involved were clear. As Thorne prepared his team, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was a larger conspiracy behind the princess's capture. The shadows of doubt lingered, but his resolve remained unbroken. Thorne's team tracked the Zargons to a desolate, rocky planet with extreme weather conditions. The stinging cold of the planet's surface was harsh against their skin, and the acrid smell of sulfur filled the air. Rough, jagged rocks underfoot made their journey treacherous, and the howling wind added an eerie, menacing tone. "We move fast and quiet. No mistakes," Thorne instructed, his voice barely audible over the wind. The team nodded, their faces set with determination. As they navigated the terrain, they encountered Zargon scouts. A skirmish ensued, blaster fire echoing through the desolate landscape. The team fought with precision, their loyalty to Thorne evident in their coordinated movements. After overcoming the scouts, they reached the Zargon's fortified stronghold. The sight of the fortress against the bleak landscape was daunting, but Thorne's tactical brilliance shone through. He devised a plan to infiltrate the hideout and rescue Lirien. Inside the hideout, the air was damp and musty, with the smell of decay lingering. The corridors were dimly lit, casting flickering shadows that played tricks on the eyes. The rough, cold metal of the walls was a stark contrast to the warmth of hope they carried within. Thorne's team moved stealthily through the labyrinthine corridors, disabling security measures with practiced ease. They discovered that the Zargons planned to use the princess as a bargaining chip, a revelation that only strengthened their resolve. "We'll set up a base of operations nearby," Thorne decided. The team found a concealed spot and began preparations. As they worked, the tension was palpable, each member driven by the mission's importance and their loyalty to Thorne. Meanwhile, Princess Lirien, held captive in a damp, cold cell, showed remarkable resilience and adaptability. She knew help was coming and clung to that hope, despite the oppressive darkness surrounding her. Thorne's team, showing loyalty and camaraderie, prepared for the rescue. The harsh environment and internal conflicts on the best approach tested them, but Thorne's determination to save the princess kept them focused. "Stay strong. Help is coming," Lirien whispered to herself, drawing strength from her unwavering belief in her rescuers. The team's successful infiltration of the Zargon hideout set the stage for the next phase of their mission. As they settled into their makeshift base, the sense of urgency and high stakes loomed large. The struggle against overwhelming adversity had only just begun. The corridors of the Zargon hideout were dimly lit, the air thick with the musty scent of decay. General Marcus Thorne led his team with silent precision, their footsteps barely audible over the distant hum of machinery. The cold metal walls, slick with moisture, seemed to close in around them, heightening the sense of urgency and danger. "Stay sharp," Thorne whispered, his voice a low growl that carried authority and resolve. His team moved in perfect unison, disabling security measures with practiced ease. Each member knew their role, their trust in Thorne absolute. As they rounded a corner, they encountered a high-ranking Zargon, his eyes gleaming with malice. A tense standoff ensued, the air crackling with the threat of violence. Thorne's hand hovered over his sidearm, ready to draw. "You're bold, human." "But boldness has its price," the Zargon leader hissed, his voice dripping with contempt. Thorne met his gaze without flinching. "We're not here to negotiate. We're here for the princess." The Zargon leader sneered but made no move to attack. Thorne's reputation had evidently preceded him, instilling a grudging respect even in his enemies. With a flick of his wrist, Thorne signaled his team to continue. In the depths of the hideout, they found a prison cell. Princess Lirien, though visibly exhausted, stood tall, her eyes sparking with defiance. Thorne approached the cell, his heart heavy with the weight of the mission. "We're getting you out of here," Princess Thorne said, his voice gentle but firm. Lirien's eyes widened in surprise and relief. "Thank you, but we're not safe yet." As Thorne's team worked to unlock the cell, a sudden betrayal from within the Zargon ranks erupted. A guard who had seemed loyal turned on his comrades, creating chaos. Thorne reacted swiftly, neutralizing the threat with deadly efficiency. "We need to move." Now Thorne ordered, urgency lacing his tone. With Lirien freed, the team prepared for extraction. The taste of fear and adrenaline was sharp in the air, each breath a reminder of the stakes. The flickering lights cast erratic shadows, adding to the tension. Thorne's negotiation skills and calm under pressure had brought them this far, but the danger was far from over. As they moved through the labyrinthine corridors, the imminent threat of discovery loomed large. "Stay close and stay quiet," Thorne instructed, his voice a steady anchor in the turmoil. Despite the looming threats, the team successfully navigated the hideout, their coordinated movements a testament to their training and Thorne's leadership. The rescue of Lirien marked a significant victory, but Thorne knew that greater dangers awaited them on their way out. As they emerged into the open air, the harsh environment of the planet assaulted their senses. The acrid smell of sulfur was a stark contrast to the dampness of the hideout, and the stinging cold bit into their exposed skin. "Let's move," Thorne commanded, his resolve unbroken. The team's loyalty and camaraderie were palpable, their unity a beacon in the desolate landscape. The chaotic environment of the Zargon hideout erupted into pandemonium as Thorne and his team, with Princess Lirien in tow, made their way back through the labyrinthine corridors. Blaster fire echoed around them, punctuated by the sharp cries of ambushed Zargon guards. The smell of burning metal and ozone filled the air, mingling with the taste of sweat and tension. "Keep moving." "We're almost there," Thorne barked, his voice cutting through the chaos. His team responded with military precision, each movement calculated to maximize their chances of survival. They encountered several ambushes, Zargon forces emerging from hidden passages to block their path. Each skirmish was swift and brutal, Thorne's tactical acumen turning the tide in their favor. His team fought with a ferocity born of necessity, their loyalty to Thorne and their determination to survive evident in every action. Lirien, though initially hesitant, quickly adapted to the rhythm of the escape. She moved with surprising agility, her determination to survive and assist her rescuers driving her forward. The sight of her bravery bolstered the team's spirits, reinforcing their resolve. Thorne devised a diversion to facilitate their escape, directing a portion of his team to create a distraction. The sound of explosions and blaster fire filled the corridors, drawing the bulk of the Zargon forces away from their path. The team pressed on, reaching their extraction point just as the first wave of Zargon reinforcements arrived. A surprise attack from the Zargons threatened to overwhelm them, but Thorne's leadership shone through. He led a counterattack with unyielding resolve, coordinating his team's efforts to repel the assault. The feel of vibrations from nearby explosions and the sight of sparks and smoke-filled corridors heightened the intensity of the battle. "Hold the line," Thorne shouted, his voice a rallying cry. His team responded with renewed vigor, their movements a symphony of coordinated strikes and defensive maneuvers. The team's bravery and quick thinking in combat secured their escape, but not without cost. As they emerged from the hideout, the stark reality of their journey hit them. The chaotic environment inside was replaced by the bleak, harsh landscape outside. The stinging cold and howling wind added to the sense of urgency and danger. "I never thought I'd see the stars again," Lirien murmured, her voice a mix of relief and awe. Thorne placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We're not out of this yet. Stay focused." The team navigated the treacherous terrain with Lirien at their side, their unity and trust in each other driving them forward. The sense of heightened tension and danger was ever present, each step a reminder of the stakes involved. As they reached their extraction point, signs of larger forces at play hinted at future conflicts. The taste of victory was tinged with the knowledge that their struggle was far from over. Thorne's internal conflict about the risks involved weighed heavily on him, but his resolve remained unbroken. The team's successful escape marked a significant milestone in their mission, but the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty. The power of teamwork and trust had seen them through dire situations, but Thorne knew that the challenges they faced were only beginning. The ship Intrepid cut through the vast and perilous expanse of space, its engines humming steadily as it navigated the treacherous routes to avoid detection. The sight of distant stars and nebulae offered a fleeting sense of tranquility, but the team knew the dangers that lurked in the void. "We're not out of the woods yet." "Stay sharp," Thorne commanded, his eyes scanning the star maps for the safest path. The feel of the ship's gentle vibrations was a constant reminder of their precarious journey. A tense encounter with a neutral faction, known for their unpredictability, tested Thorne's negotiation skills. The leader of the faction, a stern-faced alien, met Thorne's gaze with suspicion. "We don't take kindly to uninvited guests," the faction leader growled, his voice a low rumble. Thorne remained calm, his diplomatic skills honed from years of experience. "We seek safe passage through your territory. Our mission is of utmost importance, and we have no intention of conflict." The negotiation was fraught with tension, but Thorne's unwavering resolve and respect for their customs earned them a grudging nod of approval. "You may pass, but tread carefully. Our eyes will be on you." As they continued their journey, the team faced a sudden space anomaly, a swirling vortex of energy that threatened to tear their ship apart. The sight of the anomaly's eerie, swirling colors filled the view screen, casting an ominous glow inside the ship. "Brace for impact," the pilot shouted, hands flying over the controls. The feel of the ship's violent shudders as it was caught in the anomaly's pull was a stark contrast to the earlier tranquility. With a daring maneuver, the pilot managed to stabilize the ship and navigate them safely through the anomaly. The metallic taste of recycled air was a harsh reminder of the close call, but they were back on course. In the aftermath, Lirien and Thorne found a moment to bond over shared stories and experiences. The dim lighting of the ship's quarters cast a warm glow as they spoke. "I never realized how vast and beautiful space can be," Lirien said, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. Thorne nodded, a rare smile crossing his face. "It's a harsh beauty, but it reminds us of what we fight for." The team prepared for the final leg of their journey back to Creon space, each member reflecting on their experiences. Thorne's commitment to bringing Lirien safely back to her people was unwavering, and Lirien's determination to return home and fulfill her duties grew stronger with each passing moment. As they neared their destination, the sense of danger and urgency remained palpable. Hints of a greater conspiracy that led to Lirien's capture loomed large, casting a shadow over their thoughts. "We've come this far together. Let's see it through," Thorne said, his voice a steady anchor for the team. The Intrepid was ambushed by Zargon ships just as it neared Creon space. The explosive sounds of space combat filled the ship, the acrid smell of burning circuits and fuel seeping into every corner. The feel of the ship's violent shudders during impacts heightened the tension. "All hands, prepare for battle. We're not going down without a fight," Thorne's command echoed through the ship, rallying the team. Lirien, showing her bravery, manned a defensive turret. Her eyes burned with determination as she targeted the attacking Zargon ships. "I'm not staying on the sidelines. Give me a weapon." The Zargons, relentless in their assault, deployed boarding parties onto Thorne's ship. The sight of laser fire and debris in space was a stark backdrop to the desperate fight that ensued aboard the ship. "They're boarding us." "Hold the line," a team member shouted, the taste of adrenaline sharp in their mouth. Thorne's strategic brilliance turned the tide of the battle. Coordinating his team's efforts, he led them in repelling the Zargon forces. Each member showcased their combat skills and loyalty, fighting with a ferocity born of necessity. The feel of the ship's deck under their feet was a constant reminder of the stakes involved. The team's movements were a symphony of coordinated strikes and defensive maneuvers, their unity a beacon of hope in the chaos. Despite the overwhelming odds, Thorne's tactical leadership saw them through. The Zargon forces were repelled, and the ship was secured. The team's determination to protect their ship and complete the mission shone through, each member pushing beyond their limits. As the last of the Zargon forces were driven off, Thorne's voice rang out, "We've held them off, but this isn't over. Stay vigilant." The explosive sounds of combat faded, replaced by the steady hum of the ship's engines. The acrid smell of battle lingered, a stark reminder of the fight they had endured. The taste of tension and adrenaline began to ebb, replaced by a cautious sense of relief. Lirien, her hands still steady on the turret controls, looked to Thorne. "Thank you for everything." Thorne nodded, his resolve unbroken. "We're almost there. We'll see you home." The battle-ravaged space near Creon territory was a testament to their struggle. The team's successful defense of the ship and repulsion of the Zargon forces marked a significant victory, but the path ahead was still fraught with danger. As they approached Creon space, the sense of finality grew. Indications of the final confrontation awaiting them in Creon space loomed large, casting a shadow over their thoughts. "We've fought hard to get here. Let's finish this," Thorne said, his voice a rallying cry for the team. The action sequences and character interactions remained consistent and engaging, each member reflecting on their journey and the challenges they had faced. The fight for freedom and the courage to stand against overwhelming odds had defined their mission, and Thorne's determination to see it through remained unwavering. The Intrepid entered Creon space, and the team was greeted by a majestic Creon fleet. The regal sights of Creon architecture filled the view screens, the capital planet's opulent spires glistening under the twin suns. Triumphant fanfare and cheers echoed through the communication channels, a sound of relief and gratitude. As the ship docked, Thorne and his team were ushered into a grand hall, its walls adorned with rich, exotic Creon flora. The air was thick with the scent of celebration, the smooth touch of luxurious fabrics and decorations enhancing the atmosphere. Princess Lirien, standing tall and regal, addressed her people with a voice filled with gratitude and hope. "My people, we owe our lives to these brave souls. Without their courage, I would not be here today." Thorne and his team were honored for their bravery, their actions remembered and celebrated by the Creon Empire. The sense of accomplishment and camaraderie among the team members was palpable, each of them standing tall under the recognition. However, the ceremony was abruptly disrupted by a surprise attack from remnants of the Zargon faction. The rich scent of celebration was replaced by the acrid smell of burning metal and ozone, as the hall erupted into chaos. "This isn't over yet. Stay vigilant," Thorne commanded, his voice cutting through the panic. He and Lirien led a counterattack to defend the capital, their combined forces clashing with the Zargon remnants in a fierce battle. The smooth touch of luxurious fabrics gave way to the rough feel of battle gear as the team fought valiantly. The taste of tension and adrenaline filled their mouths as they repelled the attackers. The triumphant fanfare was replaced by the sounds of laser fire and the cries of combat. Despite the chaos, Thorne's adaptability and tactical brilliance shone through. He coordinated the defense with precision, each command turning the tide of the battle. Lirien, now in a leadership role, rallied her people with unyielding determination. "Stand firm. We will not be defeated," she shouted, her voice a beacon of hope. The remnants of the Zargon faction were defeated, their assault crushed under the combined might of Thorne's team and the Creon forces. The sense of triumph and resilience filled the air as the capital returned to a semblance of normalcy. The debriefing with Creon officials revealed the political complexities behind the princess's capture, hinting at future challenges and alliances. Thorne's internal conflict about his future role weighed heavily on him, but the victory reinforced his commitment to seeing the mission through to the end. As the dust settled, the team's sense of accomplishment and camaraderie grew stronger. They had defended the Creon capital and ensured Lirien's safe return, but the journey was far from over. The aftermath of the battle saw the Creon capital in a state of reconstruction. The sight of efforts to rebuild and the scent of new beginnings filled the air, a hopeful contrast to the earlier chaos. Thorne and his team were offered honorary positions in the Creon Empire, their actions having left an indelible mark. In a quiet moment amidst the rebuilding, Thorne and Lirien discussed the implications of their journey and future collaborations. The touch of warm embraces and firm handshakes between allies spoke volumes of the bonds formed through adversity. "We've come a long way, but there's still much to be done," Thorne remarked, his eyes reflecting both the past and the future. Lirien nodded, her resolve unwavering. "You and your team will always have a place here. Together we can face whatever comes next." As the team prepared for a farewell ceremony, the taste of bittersweet farewells lingered. They had forged deep connections with the Creon people, and the prospect of returning to Earth was both a welcome and somber thought. During the ceremony, heartfelt farewells and promises were exchanged. The sound of gratitude and hope filled the air as Thorne's team was celebrated one last time. However, a lingering threat from the Zargon faction cast a shadow over the proceedings. In a final confrontation, Thorne and his team neutralized the remaining threat, ensuring the safety of the Creon Empire. The experience solidified Thorne's critical decision about his future. With the mission complete, Thorne reflected on his journey and the growth he had experienced as a leader. The team's evolution and strengthened bonds were evident, each member looking to the future with a new sense of purpose and unity. "We've faced so much together. Now it's time for a new chapter," Thorne said, his voice filled with conviction. The team set off for Earth, the sight of the Creon capital fading into the distance. The scent of new beginnings and the touch of hope were tangible as they embarked on their journey home. "Earth won't believe what we've been through," a team member remarked, a smile on their face. As they left Creon space, the enduring spirit of resilience, unity, and hope for the future guided them. Thorne's decision about his future and the team's departure for Earth marked the end of one journey and the beginning of another.